Welcome to The Explainer. Okay, so what if the solution to our biggest, most overwhelming problems, I'm talking crippling debt, climate change, wasn't some brand new tech, but actually an idea that's thousands of years old? Today, we're going to look at an ancient concept for our reset button that honestly could change everything.
You know, it's so easy to feel like the huge problems we face today, things like crushing debt or a planet that's just under so much stress, are permanent. Like they're just baked into the system and there's really no way out.
I mean, look at our financial world. It really does feel like it's built on these endless cycles of borrowing and being in debt. And this isn't some rare thing anymore. For a lot of people, and even for whole countries, it's just the normal way of life.
And at the exact same time, we're facing this massive ecological breakdown. It really comes down to this. We've been treating the Earth like it's just a thing to be used up and thrown away, not like something that needs our care, something that needs to rest and repair.
But what if our systems had a built-in reset button? Well, there's this ancient biblical idea called Jubilee, or in Hebrew, Deror, that proposes exactly that.
Now, Deror is so much more than just saying, okay, your debt is forgiven. It's a completely radical way of rethinking ownership itself. It's about designing an economy with restoration built right into its DNA. The core idea? No person can permanently own something because ultimately it all belongs to a higher power.
So here's how it was supposed to work. Every 50th year, the book of Leviticus says there should be a total system-wide reset. This was meant to make sure that struggling financially wasn't a permanent life sentence passed down through generations. And it wasn't just for people. The entire system, including the land itself, got a chance to heal and recover.
But here's the really interesting part. This idea was so powerful, it didn't just stay buried in some ancient legal text. It evolved. It grew and transformed over centuries. So it started out as a specific law for the nation of Israel, but then it became something more, a prophetic hope for people who were suffering and had lost everything. And then finally, you get to the book of Luke, and it's transformed into this universal mission of liberation and restoration for absolutely everyone, with Jesus announcing that this time of release has come.
Okay, so how in the world does this ancient idea of a release have anything to say about our modern world of finance and debt? Let's take a look.
This is where things get really fascinating, because it's a direct challenge to how we normally think about ownership. The whole Jubilee idea argues that, look, if God is the ultimate owner of everything, then no human can truly accumulate or lose property forever. It's meant to be a kind of theological safety net.
And this quote from Mark Edward Shard just hits the nail on the head. Its whole purpose is to stop economic hardship from becoming a permanent trap. It's all about restoring people so they can be partners in a community, not just dependents who are stuck in debt forever.
And thinkers like Catherine Tanner say this is more relevant today than ever before. Why? Because our economy has shifted. We've gone from a system focused on making things to a system focused on making money from debt, what she calls financialized capitalism. And in this new system, being in debt forever isn't a mistake or a bug, it's the main feature. It's how the whole thing is organized. That makes the idea of a reset button feel pretty urgent, right?
But Jubilee wasn't just about money and people. And this is so important. A huge part of this whole reset idea was about the land itself.
You see, this idea of a Sabbath for the land wasn't just, good farming advice. It was a deep theological statement. It recognized that the land is part of the whole deal. It's not just a resource for us to use. It's more like a partner that needs to be protected from our constant pressure and demands.
Theologian Cynthia Mo Labeta puts this so powerfully. She's saying that this isn't just a metaphor, it's a mandate. It's about respecting that creation has its own inherent value, its own right to rest and thrive, completely separate from what it can do for us. This totally flips the script on the idea that the earth is only valuable for what we can take from it.
And this is where you really see the connection. This ancient idea shows us that you just can't solve the ecological crisis without also dealing with the economic crisis that so often drives it. I mean, think about it. When people or even entire countries are desperate for money to pay off debts, they're often forced to do things that destroy the environment. The two are completely linked, two sides of the very same coin.
So what's the big takeaway here? No one's saying we can just copy and paste this ancient law into the 21st century. It's more of a framework, or as one of our sources calls it, a theological grammar for helping us imagine a totally different kind of world.
It gives us a whole new language, a new way to think, one that's based on limits, restoration, and interconnection, not just endless growth and extraction. It's about creating a world defined by release and renewal.
This lines up perfectly with what Pope Francis calls an integral ecology, which is just this beautiful idea that you can't separate justice for people from justice for the planet. It's all one big, interconnected fight.
And so, this ancient Jubilee tradition leaves us with a really powerful question for today. In a world that feels so stuck, so locked into these cycles of debt and destruction, if we had a reset button, what would we choose to release? What systems, what assumptions, what destructive habits would we finally be willing to let go of to make room for something new to grow?